your intro song is like a minute long. We got to trim that down to like a tight 5 and then just get in there.
Welcome back to the Havoc Rundown. I'm your host, Justin, and tonight we're getting ready for the next stop in the 2026 NHRL season as we head into the April event. Joining us tonight is a builder who's been making a name for himself not just through performance in the arena, but through personality and presence outside of it as well. If you've been following NHRL, you're definitely seeing Actual Size, a 3-pound bot that combines clean engineering, smart control, and really refined approach to how these fights are won. It's the kind of robot that doesn't just rely on power, but on precision, position, and consistency. But beyond the bot itself, our guest has also built a following in the community for his roast-style videos, breaking down fights, bots, and moments in combat robotics with a mix of humor and insight. It's become much-watched content for a lot of fans and builders alike. We're joined tonight by Max Morningstar. How are you, Max?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
We are very excited to have you on. You are a builder, driver, and one of the more unique voices in the current combat robotics scene, so we're very excited to talk to you. Tonight, we're going to talk about his journey into the sport, the design philosophy behind his bots, his content creation, and what he's looking to accomplish heading into this next NHRL event. So welcome to the show. But I am not alone. Joining me tonight is also the Game Master, Ryan Hunter. Well, hello there. We have the community connection, Ashley Beckman.
I'm so ready for this.
The chaos master himself, Thomas Carroll.
You know, the Morningstar podcast has a good ring to it.
We're not doing the Morning. You can do the Morningstar podcast. That's all you, Thomas.
Max
and
Morningstar in the morning.
Oh,
Oh my God, wake up podcast. Posted it only at 5 a.m. before event.
It's only on for
I'm
an
up.
hour.
Let's
Then
go.
it's
I'm in
deleted
for that.
forever.
I need something to do in the mornings.
And of course, our webmaster, Tony Baker, is here.
What else can I get involved in?
Okay, before we dive into the April event and everything Max has been working on, we always take our quick detour into that side of the podcast room that we reserve specifically for Ryan. So it is time for Ryan's Game Corner. Tonight we are playing a brand new game
Oh, I'm
that
worried.
came inspired by a game idea Justin gave me. We're going to play Categorize It.
Great.
I have groupings of 4 robots that all have something in common. But I want from all of you is to tell me what is the category that you could put them all into. This is a buzz-in game, so everyone come up with a unique buzz sound.
Damn it, where's my cowbell?
I'll take ding. Okay. Max?
I'll do the extremely loud incorrect buzzer.
Okay.
I usually just scream, so good luck.
Okay. All right. So, if everyone buzzes and all answers are wrong, then
No.
House gets a point.
Nothing.
Yes.
He's going to tell us we're all wrong just so he can get a point.
Well, I would hope that he has them written down so that we can,
they're all written
we
down
can
over
see
here.
them. So
I actually have a master document that has literally every game since the first game that I have built, all built onto it. It's just one big list right now. All right. So an example of this, what I'm looking for
I'm
would
ready.
be the bot's blue cheese, piece of cake, wasabi, and doom croissant are all food names.
Food names, right? Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay. So
Thank
does
you.
everybody understand the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so.
Okay.
Can't wait
So-
for you to read the those.
Your first round of robots are Repeater, Stop Hitting Yourself, Minin and Plusle, and Caulk.
Oh,
And-
mine and Plusle.
Mine and Plusle.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that's
Jeopardy
messed that
rules
up.
where we have to wait for you to finish the
No,
question
you
before
can
we buzz in?
probably just yell at him.
I would like you to finish. For the audio listeners, it
Okay.
works best if I finish reading them all. But I believe, Max, you did get the first actual buzz in. So what is it?
They're all multi-bots.
They are all multi-bots.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Our second round. Slam Plan, Emulsifier, Promheta, Pine Victus.
Oh, Thomas.
Thomas,
all-
was
That's
that
his noise?
was that your noise?
Yeah. It's a
Okay,
good noise.
Thomas, what
it's
is
me
it?
falling off of a cliff. They are all vertical spinners.
Oh,
That is wrong, Thomas.
Yeah.
Ding.
No,
I believe
no,
Ashley
I-
was the second.
Wow.
Wait,
Thomas,
yeah, they are.
Thomas,
Go ahead, Ashley.
they are all golden dumpster winners.
They're
Eh,
not. I mean, technically, but not what I'm looking for.
They're all
I
robots.
wasn't sure.
Can I take this one?
Yes.
Yes, Max.
They're all Golden Brett winners.
They are all Golden Brett winners. Very good, Max. Max has 2 points.
That's
Okay.
okay.
Pine
You have
Victus
none.
has
I'm fine
not.
with it.
Yeah, as long as the
Pine
house
Victus
doesn't win. That's the most
hasn't won a
important
dumpster yet, though. I'm
It
sure it's
hasn't.
gonna.
That,
Oh, that's true.
Very
It
right.
didn't. You're right.
okay.
part. We're all on the same team here.
That's true. It's everybody against Ryan, so it doesn't matter.
The next round is Clyde, Waddles, Power of Friendship, and Comet.
Ashley!
Ding.
A ding for Ashley.
Please.
I think
Okay,
Justin
go,
got
Ashley.
it at
No,
the end.
Ashley could do it. It's fine.
Okay, Ashley.
They're all WPI bots.
They are all WPI
It's
bots.
too easy. Watch
Okay.
the next one's like, they all use M3.5 screws.
He's gonna do that one day.
The next one,
Oh, dragon.
Shaman, Dragon Princess,
Shaman.
Titanium White, and Plyo Hazard.
Ding.
Ashley?
They're all flamethrowers?
They are all flamethrowers.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see if we can get harder now. All right.
Wait, I was right? I wasn't convinced.
Yes,
Plyo
no,
Hazard
you're right.
was.
You're right. You're right. You're completely right. I thought Plyo Hazard was going to throw you, but yeah, Plyo
is this
Hazard
correct?
was in one fight as a firebot. Okay. The next round is Monkfish, Droopy, Huge, and Bobby. That last one was supposed to be Bobby.
Oh, no wonder.
Monkfish, Droopy, Huge, and Bobby.
Ding?
Yes?
They all have eyes?
I knew that you were gonna be good at this game. Okay, yes.
Wait, really?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my
They are all robots with eyes. Okay. One
Ashley's
last
too
round.
powerful.
Honestly, you guys are really good at this game. Next time we're gonna have to make it harder.
No.
All right.
They all
Ready?
share the same amount of voltage in their lipos.
Magnitude, Pepe Sylvia, Penguin, Yahoo.
Yahoo! That wasn't me dinging, it was just saying Yahoo.
Ashley,
They
what
all
is
come
it?
from Colorado.
Yeah, they all come from Colorado.
Let's
I
go.
didn't make this hard. Okay. Well, see, there's a game.
She's
I'm
too
the team
good.
manager for Magnitude. If you don't think I know those,
Oh, I
where those
know.
robots
I am very well aware. All right. So that was a good, quick game. And Ashley
You were
did very
right.
well.
I was
Ashley
good at
won.
that game.
We
So
should have
I
given her
will
that
know-
one.
The game that Ryan built that off of was a game that I saw on a short, and basically what it was two people were facing each other, and they each had a category of characters, and they each had to say a video game character, and then the other person would say yes or no whether that character fit into the category they had, and they had to figure out the category the other person had based on the characters that they said yes or no to.
Interesting.
Okay, that would be fun to
So-
do with robots to try and narrow it down. You're
I-
you're throwing out
Oh,
robots,
man.
and so
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I've got Monkfish and let's say Bobby at this point. I'm still not certain if it's eyes or not until I throw like a Huge into the mix.
Right.
I thought that would be too hard, but obviously I got to make that game a little harder next time I
Right.
use it.
Ryan has PTSD
yeah.
for
Too
making
easy.
games too
Yeah.
hard, and
Yes.
us all
Yeah.
getting angry at him for the game being too hard. So he's kind of
Yeah.
swung in the opposite direction. He's got
Yeah,
he's
you
got to
realize
bring the
that
pendulum
Ashley
back.
was just
I swing back and forth every
Goated.
once in a while. That's just how it goes. All right. Well, everybody get out of the game corner. Let's go to the next part of our interview.
Okay, very cool. Well, before we stop off and learn a little bit more about Max, we're going to check in with the current state of NHRL and what is coming for April. I will note that I will not personally be at April, but Ryan will be. And I believe, Ashley, you're not going to be either.
Nope.
So I guess it's just
What's the
Thomas.
yeah, I'll be there.
Thomas and Max, you're bringing actual size, right?
I sure am.
Okay, very cool. So let us talk about the current state of the Fantasy League, and Ryan and Ashley are both members of that. So we can talk about the bots that we are looking forward to coming to NHRL, and what we're thinking about as far as like winners and who's going to do well and stuff like that. So Ryan, would you like to take it away and talk about what your current thoughts are of what your roster is going to look like, hopefully?
See, I think the very interesting thing is there's not a ton of bots that like jump out as like number one bots. I mean, I of course want like Project Liftoff, Anubis, Jackalope. I would love Jackalope is coming. I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna go with like Usagi probably as one of my beetles too. It's got and Penguin's coming from Colorado, like we said of the game. In the 12s, Battletoads is coming back, and I am looking forward to seeing Battletoads again. As far as I know, they have been working on them very hard. And we have Caldera 12 coming again too. So 12s are going to be great. And
no Jake Hoffman reference in the 12s there with Maximizer, Mr. Rocket Hunter?
We're missing our Maximizer mentions every episode.
I don't
Jake
have to.
Maximizer.
I don't. Well, I was looking forward to Battletoads.
I'm just very
also
excited that there's a lot of robots that have dog references in them. April, there's like 5.
Yeah,
there's 5 dog references.
Well, I definitely counted at least 4, and then I just added an extra for good measure, just in case.
There's hot dog coming. That's fun.
Yeah.
And then
there's
dog. And then junkyard dog.
And then I think there's another one in the 3s that I found.
Hot dog.
That's crazy.
I
do like. There's a couple names up here. I do like LimeWire. That is an awesome. I don't know if that's a bot that's there before.
Did we just age ourselves?
Yes,
that's a throwback. That's a throwback for sure.
Mine and Impossible is first round fighting Luna, which is my daughter's name. So that is an interesting one there.
That is the brand new Beetle from Connor from WPI.
Beetle, it's under the 12.
Or 12, sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Well, that makes me feel really good about it.
Connor, I'm excited to see that.
I will also mention that we have Aries coming back for this one. Corey, Synthesis 30, that we just talked to him last episode. He will be here. And Kazaa Ines, which we saw how well, I always keep on forgetting his name.
Josh.
How well he was.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh. How well Josh was able to do with just one of them versus 2. So that is an interesting
I'd also like to talk about the robot named Shri.
Is it driven by Shri?
Yes.
It sure is, yeah.
It absolutely is.
And
I have on good word from Shri that Pepperoni is another good RoboJackets bot to look out for this event. So
okay.
But
I'm always
Shri all the way. I'm here for it. I'm Team Shri, definitely.
I always love new 30s that I've never heard of before, because you never know what they're going to turn out to be. Max, I did also want to get your thoughts on, so your first run fight is Twisted Sister. How do you feel about that?
I'm pretty excited for it. So this is one of the robots of the Colorado contingent that's coming to this event, of which there's a series of robots that have not competed in a couple of years. Twisted Sister is one of them. So definitely looking forward to the matchup. I mean, Horizontal's traditionally not the ideal enemy of a big wheel robot, but you're fighting. We're here to fight the best, and that's exactly what this kind of round 1 is going to be, is fighting a veteran competitor. So I think it should be a good start to the day.
Do you have a special, because Ryan learned that lesson about big wheels, especially big foam wheels against horizontals at the first time he fought his new bot. Do you have any special planning against horizontals? Anything you do differently? Because horizontals that is the Achilles heel for any big wheel bot.
I would honestly say that these days hammer saws are a little more threatening, but my configuration against beetles, or I should say my configuration against horizontals, is a little bit specialized from what other big wheels do. I have a half-stanced configuration. So I tilt one side of my chassis and it ends up cocking the other wheel and my weapon slightly. The logic behind that was I saw an interview that Glenn did after losing with Caldera into Sir Slicey, back when Sir Slicey made its dumpster run last year. And one of the things that Glenn mentioned was because Sir Slicey's weapons were at an angle, he was really not able to get that like devastating upright splitting shot with Caldera that you're really going for as a horizontal spinner. So I tried this out at MIT's event back in December where I put my spinner at an angle. And I did it immediately after losing a fight to Flash Freeze, which was, of course, is a very hard-hitting WPI horizontal. And I was able to beat Jameson Go with Silent X. And then I was also able to beat another hub motor horizontal, Ghastly, of which Twisted Sister, assuming it hasn't had any major changes, is also a hub motor horizontal spinner. So, in my experience, it has worked well. The cant is very slim. It's not a lot, but I'm hoping that just by offsetting it enough that you're not able to get that clean 90-degree shot is enough to hopefully give me the edge in those weapon-to-weapon hits with horizontals.
That's really interesting. Have you heard of anyone else doing this, or is this something that's kind of a Max Morningstar special?
To date, it's a Max Morningstar special, though, of course, it descends from the slam plan school of take things out of plane to make it harder for horizontals to hit them. So, as with every other big wheel, it's all the DNA runs back to the huge team.
Right. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Do you have any dream matchups here or any Beatles or any of the weight classes that you're looking forward to seeing?
Oh my goodness. So Sir Slicey is honestly, I think Sir Slicey and Camino is within my starter group there, Group B. They're a fascinating matchup because both of them have had major impacts on how I build big wheels. Sir Slicey, I have not fought directly, but I did fight Sir Spinney with Jot back in January 2024, and Evan Bimji just knocked me around the box for a solid 3 minutes. And then Camino, I fought also with Jot back in, I want to say June 24. Actually, it might have been November 24. But either way, the fight lasted, I'm going to say generously, about 30 seconds. And so in both of those cases, the failure point was the wheels. For the fight with Sir Slicey, I was running UHMW wheels with cleats on them. Sir Slicey stripped the cleats completely off the wheels. For the fight with Camino, I had 2 sheets of UHMW that I sandwiched around the cleats, hoping that would give the cleats more protection, and it just completely ripped them apart. So that is what led me to the TPU wheels I now use to protect my cleats. So, the design underpinnings of actual size came from losses to these robots. So I'd love to run it back with them and hopefully prove that I've made improvements since then.
Very cool. That's how any great innovation happens is from failure, as any great inventor will tell you. So that's awesome that you were able to learn from that. How does your TPU, how is that configured, the TPU wheels? Is it UHMW and the TPU is wrapped around it kind of to protect the bottom and give you traction?
No, it's pure TPU, and then I have spring steel cleats that I bolt into those wheels. And it's a single print that I do, and I've got a particular print file that I hand aligned where all of the layer lines were going to be for maximum strength.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it took me a couple of tries, but this is the wheel that I've been running since November of 2024. No, November of 2025. And they're fantastically durable. They do take damage. I would defy you to find me a big wheel that won't take some damage, but they hold up really well. They keep the cleats protected, which is the main reason why I go with the TPU. So for me, at a certain point, I'm sure I'll redesign them, but right now I'm not losing fights because of the wheels, so I have other things to focus on.
Okay, makes sense. Thomas, what are you looking forward to? Is there any bots that are... I know you're not in the fantasy league, but anything you're looking forward to coming in April?
Anything I'm looking forward to coming in April? I don't know.
You can always tell Thomas needs time to think when he repeats the question.
Always.
The most important thing that I want to see is I want to see a big wheel get split in half.
Wow.
And I don't know how many big wheels are going to be at this event, but there is one.
Wow.
There's one that I know that's going to be there.
I already did it for you once, Thomas.
No,
you really
no,
want me to
what?
run it back? We all seen the footage, all right? We've all seen the fight with Turbo
No.
Fiend.
Actually, I want to see Turbo Fiend get split in half. Max,
Oh,
you
there
make
you
that
go.
happen?
I would love to make that happen. I was really trying to architect the bracket for the March event so that me and Julian would see each other, but it just didn't come to pass this time
So what
around.
I could do is I could like take a little saw and start to like pre-score all the parts on their bot.
It's great.
So that way you just get one good hit and it just falls apart.
It's perfect. It's like
Oh,
the
Julian's like-
away
We
suits.
got a
You know, it's
full
just you just
meeting.
got to Velcro them together, and then once they get into the arena, you're good
I
to
hope
go.
Julian isn't listening to this. Otherwise, he'll be
He absolutely will
he'll
listen.
be on the
Oh,
lookout.
he will. Thomas is just
Oh.
doing the cage side, and Julian finishes the match, and Thomas is just hunched over his bot. Julian's like, "What are you doing to my robot?" I'm just cleaning it up. It's okay.
Don't worry, nothing is happening.
Ashley, you will not be there in April, but you are part of the fantasy league, and I know there's quite a couple bots that you hold close to your heart. Who are you thinking? Maybe fantasy league, or who are
I'm
you
going
excited?
to be. If this comes out before the draft, mark my words, I'm going to blow a fit if someone takes Captain Chaos from me.
Okay,
Because-
why? Why Captain
Because
Chaos?
Captain Chaos is Nora from our friends at Duckbots driving a vert
Okay.
now that is the version of Sad Octopus that is Nora's, because Cam drove the lifter, so now it's Nora's turn to drive the spinner. So
The spinner. Okay.
I'm all
Yeah.
day long Team Nora.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Nora is such a great driver when it comes to Under Destruction.
Literally so excited. for
Yeah,
her.
the fact
Mom said it's my turn to drive the octopus.
Yes, exactly.
is it literally Sad Octopus, or is it a version that they built for her to drive as Sad Octopus?
It's definitely a different. It's probably just a different colored Sad Octopus. He did post a
Right.
photo, I believe, in our Discord. But yes, I'm very excited, and I can't
What if
wait.
it's just happy octopus?
Maybe that would be
If-
okay.
How happy do you think Nora would be if she's the one to dumpster with Sad?
Yeah.
That would be very funny.
I would not want to ride in a car on the way home.
No. I would not want to be
Yes.
dad on the way home.
Yeah.
Do we still not know what Sad Octopus is a reference for? Do we? I
No.
still
No.
haven't
Never
figured that
it
out.
Even
We're
with the
never
news,
gonna
we
find
never
out.
figured it out.
Cam has never told us. We don't
No.
know. No. He is always he just keeps on hinting that it's something that we should know, but we don't.
We don't.
Nobody knows.
No.
Only
Nobody-
Cam knows. It's a figment of his imagination.
Yeah. Yeah, so on top of that, on top of the normal bots that are coming, we also have quite a few XPs this time. I did not notice that we have about double the amount of XPs that we had in March.
I love the names
which,
of the XP bots. Like Bing Bong.
Oh, I know.
That's so fun.
Yeah, the the XP box are so great. And I just wanted to talk about the XP for a minute, because anyone that's listening, we've talked about XP in the past. If you don't know what the XP is and you compete, that's kind of weird because they've talked about it a lot. But the XP is for any brand new builders, brand new drivers, to go into a tournament by themselves. And it's so that you don't bring this bot that you spent a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of time on, and you're brand new, and then they put you in the cage with Silent Spring. It's to stop that from happening.
I mean, that's pretty fun.
And
So
it has happened multiple times.
Yes, it
Oh,
has.
yeah.
It's been an interesting experience sitting at the desk with the XPs coming up and seeing some of these brand new faces, having the excitement of, hey, we're doing this, and not having that dread of like, oh, I'm going against, Voxel. That's not a personal thing that I'm pulling out of my own history or anything. But yeah, so it's very cool watching them come up. It's very cool seeing these robots and seeing them have the time, because honestly, like the XPs don't have the same time constraints, so we're able to give them a little bit of leeway for new builders, and it's just really cool. So anyone that is
That's what I'm going to do when I ever build a robot, guys. I'm going right to XP.
Anyone that's listening to this has never built and has always turned around and said, hey, I really want to do that. NHRL has the XP system, and it's a lot more lenient. It's a lot more relaxed. And it's a really good way to get your feet wet without being destroyed in the first round. So, yeah. So,
having limped my way through a year's worth
the other
of
way
fights
around
with a deep cut, with competition after competition going 0-2 or like 1-2 with a forfeit win. I would have loved to have done the XP bracket back in the day. So I'm really glad that they have it as an opportunity for new builders now.
Well, you were just talking about the learning through innovation and learning through failure, and XP kind of lets you do that without, too hard of a failure or too predictable of I don't want to say that because I don't want to disparage any of the XPs because some of these bots are awesome, but like we said, you're a brand new builder, you don't know what you're doing, you've never behind a sticks, and you go up against Jamison Go. That's kind of like why. So but yeah, it's really cool. But we have stuff like Bing Bong, you're saying, the Boomstick, Red Sun, which I believe is a reference to the show, maybe, I don't know. Burning Money, which I think is coming back because I think that was one that we already had.
Yes,
Glitchy,
it
was. Public
Revelation, Fish Hook, just Mark.
I'm going to just enjoy yelling Bing Bong into the pits.
That's my
That's
favorite
very
one,
enjoyable.
Sure. Bing bong.
It's so great. I love when bots have people names. It's very cool. It's like when your dog is just named like I don't know, like Jim or
Frank.
something. Yeah.
Okay, this is a trend that needs to come back. The original robot that fought depth charging got that viral video. I think it was James. It had a Connecticut license plate on the back of the robot. People need to put license plates on the back of the robots from their home state or a state they like or something, because that's really funny.
That wasn't the North Carolina college. I believe they were from North Carolina. That was a specific college, and they had like 3 or 4 robots. One was James, one was like Greg. They had a bunch of robots that just had people names. It was interesting.
Somebody do it.
Western?
It's great.
Okay, so that is April. We're looking forward to that. I will not be there in person, but I will be watching and keeping track of the Fantasy League for anyone that wants to sit on in the Fantasy League draft. That is going to be on the 31st, which is the Tuesday before the April event at 9 p.m. If you hop over to the Discord, we'll put the invite link and you can come and listen. I think we're going to be streaming it on Twitch or something as well. I don't know. We'll get it. You can watch whichever way. So it's always chaos and it's always fun. Okay. So we're moving from that and we're going to go into our signature segment where we ask our guests some really good deep or not deep questions. So let us move into the 5 in Focus. Okay, cool. So Max, I don't know if you were listening to the show before, but each of us have a question for you that has to do with robots or your life or your history in the competition or any of the kind of stuff like that. Ashley, I have you going first.
Oh, fun. Okay. Well, since I am the community girl around here, I was thinking about this the other day, and I want to know if there's anyone that you've met at NHRL or any other competition that you feel you have made like as like a friend for life that maybe you wouldn't have met if it weren't for this sport, right? So like a lot of people they forget that's how Zach and I met, right? Like we met at NHRL. So like if not for that, our lives would be totally different. So is there anyone like that's made an impact on you?
Oh my gosh. There are so many builders that I look for when I get to the pits. In terms of folks that I like probably wouldn't have crossed paths with, 2 of them come to mind. Jonah, who's the driver of Rick Roller and Ghastly, and Pete Covert, driver of Nightcrawler and Spanky, I think is his 3-pound robot. Yeah. Both of them I met at NHRL. I met Jonah in, oh my goodness, sometime in 2023. Rickroller was I think at the time it was called the last chance fight before my robot Deep Cut to get into the bracket. And Deep Cut had Rickroller on the ropes for probably a minute. And then one of my wheels, which was just a PLA like circle with a rubber band glued onto it, melted on my drive axle. And so it fell right off and disabled my robot. And Jonah was able to take the win. And of course, since then, we have both dramatically improved our driving and competitive abilities. But he was very good-natured about it. It was a super fun fight, even though it ended my day. And so the fact that both of us have been able to sort of grow up in the sport together, I think has been really amazing. And then on the total opposite end of the spectrum, Pete Covert, who's been doing this, much longer, probably longer than I've been alive, if I'm being honest, which might date me and definitely dates him. But Pete is awesome, and his robots are so well designed. Some of his mechanisms, his drive pods that he has on Nightcrawler and on Spanky are so intricate and so fantastically machined. They really set the bar for me coming up, where I was able to look at a robot and go like, whoa, this is what you can do if you have access to good machining tools. And if you have the kind of experience to know, hey, it might be useful to just pop off a whole drive pod and put another one on, as opposed to trying to fiddle with some mechanism and resolder it in place and all this other, rookie bot nonsense that I was dealing with at the time. So two very different individuals that I almost certainly would not have crossed paths with if not for combat robotics.
I love that.
Yeah. You see those stories all over the place. This community is amazing. Look no further than where we are right now. We would not have met, I know Ryan and I would not have met Tony, Ashley, or Thomas without this sport. So
I don't know. I feel like maybe
crazy.
Thomas I might have crossed paths.
Yeah, I would have been like at an amusement park in line,
I can't leave
riding some coaster for the 50th time, and Ashley's like, "Wait, didn't I see you just get off this 2 minutes ago?" Yeah. Want to see me do it again?
Which reminds me, Thomas, we got a plan on going to an amusement park together this summer.
Six Flags New England, April 11th, opening day. Actually, no. So I'm going to Disney this upcoming weekend, and then I'm going to Six Flags New England, and then I'm going to Six Flags New England again, and then let's see. I don't know.
Let me know when you get to Pennsylvania in July.
Oh yeah, Memorial Day weekend, I'm going to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, California's Great America, Magic Mountain, and Knott's Berry Farm in 4 days.
Oh my God.
So anyone in California, I'll be there.
What does Thomas do with his money?
It doesn't cost much, because I have a season pass that gets me into 90% of these parks.
Yeah.
And the Disney tickets, they're from when I was 1.5 years old. I cut my ear open on the kiddie pool, and it started bleeding everywhere, so we went to the hospital, and we left 2 days early. So we still have days on the tickets.
What?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
This is from the time where they don't
know
that those are still good?
Yeah, so more recently, the past 5-10 years or something, you have to pay the price difference. But these old tickets, they never expired. They never had any terms. So we have to go to customer service. They scan them on their ancient machine to convert them to a modern ticket type. But I've already got a case number. They said, yeah, come to this place so we can do all this stuff. So it's going to be great.
That's insane, Thomas.
This is Thomas lore I didn't know I was getting tonight, and I love it.
There's always Thomas lore. It doesn't end.
It's so good.
You know what? We usually save you for the middle, but Thomas, why don't you do your secret question right now?
I hope nobody else was going to ask this one, but Max, can you roast the podcast team?
Oh my gosh. I knew this was coming. All right, I'll go member by member, and then I've got some notes for the overall podcast.
Perfect. Okay. Okay.
So we're going to start with Ryan and Justin. I've been competing at NHRL since 2023, and if you guys didn't have nameplates on, I would not be able to tell which of you was which.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, when it's sort of mid-morning at an NHRL event and I'm stressed, what I'll do is I'll have one of my pit crew members, usually whichever one is the newest, go over to you guys and ask if the 3-pound bracket is finalized or not, just so I can hear you get more and more irate over the intercom system, and it calms me down. It has a nice, relaxing feeling.
What? You mean when I'm super hostile halfway through the afternoon, I'm tired, and I'm like, attention builders, the bracket is not ready.
It's always funny because I'll make a comment. I'll make a comment to one of my picker members. I'm like, hey, just run over and ask him if the bracket is finalized or not. And without fail, 20 seconds later, the intercom comes in. Oh, it's fantastic.
Okay, so now in April, the call is going to be Max. Leave me alone.
Tony, we'll jump to you next. Tony, you've built the most complex, like high-tech website in combat robotics right now, and nobody knows that you're the one behind it. At best, they're going to link it to the podcast. I don't even know if this is a roast. Maybe this is like a brilliant, masked vigilante programmer moment. But nobody, your name would never come up if somebody was like, who crafted that website? It's, so burn if you were trying to get the publicity, or, kudos if you were trying to remain incognito. Thomas, you made one robot and it was so bad they had to make a rule so that you couldn't bring it back.
So, interesting facts, Mac. Well, I don't know if you were about to say this, Tony, but we started Havoc TV and we just recorded 26 fights the other night where we were just roasting and talking. Yeah. And that's one of the fights that we covered was Thomas's one fight.
Well, Max, I will have you know, not only did I make one robot so bad that they had to make a rule against it, my second robot was also so bad that a bird pushed me into a hole and I fell. I wasn't even looking at the cage during this match. It was so bad. So, wait, that doesn't help me at all.
Nope. Hey, all this being said, I do expect to see you back in the cage when they re-legalize airbags in 2028, once the prohibition is up.
But so 2027, airbag 2028. Got it.
Yep. That's right. That's right. And then Ashley, again, I don't know if this is a burn on you or a burn on me. I'm going to be honest, for like the first year and a half that I knew you, I thought that you were Zach's mother.
That's hilarious.
Took way longer than it should have for me to be like, oh, that's not that relationship at all.
It doesn't help if you've ever been around and we've gone, Ashley, please go yell at Zach. Just go yell at him. Tell him to be ready.
I will say, for the first 2 years of us dating, I tried to not let anybody know that we were dating because his ego was a little bit too much for my loving personality and it needed to be checked down a little bit. So that's fair, for sure.
All right, and then and to close us out here, just to roast the pod in general. First of all, your intro song is like a minute long. We got to trim that down to like a tight 5, and then just get in there, because I've in our TikTok generation's time span here, that's an eternity. People have already clicked away by that point. And then last but not least, you guys have 5 or 6 with a guest people on, and you're still getting beaten out in viewership by Jake and Brandon Bennett Young over with their podcast. So you gotta step it up. Either that or add more commentators, I guess. Maybe if you get it to 8, you'll finally be able to outpace them.
But no, roast them.
They've got that built-in audience still.
Yeah. So I was gonna say,
they got people that forgot to unsubscribe from the last hosts. And they're just like, oh yeah, what's this now? This go on the background.
Yeah. So for one of them, they have the built-in. That I'll give you one of those, and then the other one noted. I can trim the intro. The intro is long. I have it. It literally ends at the same exact time every single time. I have a thing in Audacity of when the intro ends and I come in, and it's 45 seconds. So
it is long.
I can trim it down. I will note
just
that's how
bit.
long that's how long Behind the Bots original intro was with the whole like song, and then hearing like Luke and them say so, like that whole thing was that long. So, but okay.
It'll be trimmed for this episode. And then no one will know what you're complaining about.
It'll be 5 seconds for this episode. Literally, I am making a note. It's going to be 5 seconds for this episode. You know what it is?
We should A/B test it. You should just trim it for this episode, leave it long for the rest of the season, and then we'll do a viewer count comparison and see if it had any effect. And Max, if not, I will totally eat crow and take it back. And then I'm gonna have them bot this one up to like 20,000 views.
No, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the intro, and it's gonna start the first couple seconds, and then I'm gonna just put your roast of the intro song into it, and then just end the intro.
There you go. Perfect.
There you go.
I love it.
Perfect.
Okay, so that was Thomas's. Ryan, why don't you go next?
All right. Max, what inspired you to start making your video content, and what kept you going to put out an almost hour-plus documentary on the growth of actual size?
Oh my goodness. We've got some great inspiration in the community for good video content. Yeah, just talking about him, but Jake and the videos that Jake put out, I will still go back and watch his competition recaps and some of his Maximizer build vlogs. Even though they're a couple of years out of date, it's so cool to watch that process and watch that robot evolve. And similarly, I think that there's a lot of storytelling in the evolution of a robot that you don't get to see. Obviously, people iterate and they come back, and you might be able to visually tell that certain things are different on a robot, but the nuance of like, oh, this specific failure mode in this fight led to me doing this, and then the next match, it suddenly worked better, or actually it worked way worse, and I, needed to pivot yet again. Finding how people came to those conclusions and made those changes so that their bot looks the way it does today. I love that. I love sort of learning that story from others. And so that was what inspired me to share that story with everybody else. I also did not intend for that to be an hour-plus video. Originally, I was going to do a recap of just December, and then I think my next fight after that was in March of 2025. And then I was like, but I'll wait until June. And then I, competed in June. And then I was like, but I'm about to compete in September. I'll just wait until after that. And then suddenly it was December, and I had a year's worth of footage that I had to go through. So the script emerged really early and then just kept getting longer and longer and longer until finally I pulled the trigger on it.
It's an excellent video. It's one of my favorite videos of this year of combat robotics stuff. It was really good.
I'm glad. And I got an unexpected bonus recently, so I will be getting a better lav mic that should improve the audio quality, which I would say is probably the weakest point of the whole video. So I promise the next one will sound easier on the ears.
You have a very good radio voice, though.
You do. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it reminds me, your voice reminds me of, I can't remember what the YouTuber's name is, but he just made his own movie and put it out.
Oh, Markiplier?
Yeah, your voice has a very Markiplier.
It's like we're in that sort of middle low octave, I think, which definitely helps it.
Yeah. Well,
Tony.
Okay. So you kind of partially answered the question, but I'm actually going to tie this into the stuff that we're doing on our site and our YouTube page as well. But you've got to follow with some of your videos, and we're trying to start getting the YouTube page and our YouTube and social media stuff set up. And we're doing our bot of the day now. So every single day we're doing a little short with our bots. And it was funny you mentioned the intro, because at the first one I put the intro at the beginning, and I'm like, no, don't do that. So I put it at the end of the thing now. So it's like right into the fight things. And we're doing Havoc TV, which is kind of like a roast of old fights. It's in the Mystery Science Theater vein that we're going to be releasing weekly starting, well, we put one out last week, but this will be our first real episode this week. What other suggestions or tips can you give us that can help enhance our YouTube and our social presence?
Oh my gosh. I would say that having visual components is definitely helpful. So Havoc TV, already starting to get into that element there. The more media savvy amongst us, of which I do not count myself, will tell you that you are, and NHRL is a great example of somebody trying to do this. A great way to draw a lot of attention is with the shorter online, reels, and then you use that to sort of segue people into the more long form content. So something that I thought about doing but didn't actually pull the trigger on was people will take a 30-minute build video of them constructing, I don't know, Colin Furs is a YouTuber I watched. He just made a bike that uses like magnetic suspension instead of normal hydraulic or spring-based suspension. He'll have a reel that is a preview of that is like 30 seconds. And so, as you're scrolling through your feed, you'll see him bouncing around, and then his reel will end with, basically like, come see how I built this thing. And then, of course, we'll link you to the 30-minute, 40-minute video of him actually constructing it. So little things like that to get you into a Havoc TV or to get you into a podcast could be a way to start to grow the viewership. And then just varying the content, which, again, you guys are already starting to do with things like Havoc TV. So, breaking things up. For me, of course, I've got the one-off videos like Beetle Swarm. I've got longer form content, of which there should be more coming. No spoilers, but I've got some things in the works. And then, of course, like the roast videos, which are very bite-sized and very consumable. So depending on what a viewer is there for, they can sort of pick from their menu of options that you're putting out.
Do you have a roast video
we're shooting
coming?
For the Havoc TV for right around like 20 to 30 minutes, like a half hour. It's like TV show. And then we got the podcast is obviously like an hour to two sometimes, depending on how long we want to talk.
I do have a roast video in the works. I want to use this as a platform. I did not expect that to take off in the way that it did. The first one was supposed to be just like a one-off thing, and the community reaction was so positive, and so it was like, okay, all right, I'll run this back, but maybe it's getting tired. And I put the second one out, and people liked it even more. So I guess I just got to keep doing it at this point.
I'm expecting a full roast for Hive Hysteria. Get ready.
Yep. 24 roulette. Luckily, I've got time. I've got time to prep for that one.
Exactly. You have plenty of time. Plan ahead.
That's awesome. So my question is the final one. My question is, has breaking down fights and other bots and the roasting and everything like that in your videos changed how you look at your own builds or your own driving?
Well, first of all, it should go on record that I am in no position to criticize anybody else because my record as a combat roboticist is very poor. I have only recently finally started to eke into some moderate competitive success. Of all my robots, actual size, actually, I guess technically Lemon Vinaigrette has a positive record, but actual size is the only one with a real positive winning record. I've never made a podium. I've certainly never won an event. So, it goes without saying, or it should go without saying, but when I'm poking at other robots, it's very much in good fun. In that vein, though, once you start to go down the road of like, okay, you're getting fights that are put in the Havoc Bowl, for example, where they're going to be on stream, that they're going to have some more viewership. The pressure mounts where it's like, okay, it's no longer acceptable to like go into a match with half drive or have your weapon go down. You really want to be in the fight the entire time. And so that added pressure, I think, is very positive because it's like, instead of just being slapdash with my electronics, I'm going to do a once-over on them before I leave my house and once I'm in the pits, just to make sure that all the connections look good. Little things like that where ordinarily or otherwise I would just be like, send it. You know what? If there's an issue, we'll sort of work through it. Now, because there's that added lens, you really want to make sure that you're fighting at 100% so that you can put on the best show for people. So I think that side of it, that increased attention has had a positive impact, certainly in my preparation for going into events.
Just Cuz Robotics brings you the latest and greatest in beetle-weight drive motor technology, the Blitz Lite, mini size for mighty drive. At under 45 grams, these are the lightest and smallest 6mm shaft drive motors on the market. Our Blitz Lite gear motor includes a fully custom 20mm all-steel gearbox mated to a customized 1604 brushless motor in either 2850 or 3800 kV options. The 29-to-1 gearbox has a super durable chromoly steel 6mm output shaft and M3 threaded face mounting. The Blitz Lite can deliver the same peak torque as our awesome Dartbox Dragon brushed motors, but are 37% shorter and 25% lighter weight from brushless power. Make your bot a bit lighter with the Blitz Lite, available today at justcauserobotics.com. That's just C-U-Z, robotics.com.
Hey everyone, you're already listening, so you know the fights don't end when the episode does, but the Havoc Rundown now lives over at HavocRundown.com. Again, that's HavocRundown.com. That's where we're posting combat robotics news, hosting every episode of the show, and running the largest combat robotics bot registry that's ever been put together. Stats, history, teams, and results, all built to grow alongside the sport. We're also curating fight videos, rolling out community games, and dropping merch for anyone who wants to rep the chaos. And the 2026 Fantasy League is live right now. You can create your own Fantasy League for a full season or spin one up for a single-day event. Draft robots, track performance across events, and compete in a way that actually fits how combat robotics is run. This year, our focus is the sport as a whole. If robots are fighting, it belongs in the conversation. All leagues, all formats, all rule sets from local events to competitions around the world, we have got you covered. Thank you for listening, everyone. Let's get you back to the episode and back to the chaos right now. Okay, cool. So that was the 5 in focus. So that was each of our questions. We are going to move over to our final piece of the show, which is where we turn to the audience and see what the audience wants to hear about from our guests. So let us open up the voicemail box and see what we got in the listener mailbag.
You've reached the voicemail of
the Havoc Rundown.
Please leave your message after the tone.
Okay, so the first question in our listener mailbag this week is from Corey from Team Pandemonium, and he says, "Hey Max, how did you get such an epic name?"
That is a great question, Corey. So my first name comes from my great-grandfather, Max TRC, who immigrated to the United States from Ukraine. My last name is a bit of a mystery. It comes from my grandfather on the other side, John Morningstar. And all we know about him, I've just told you. We have his name and nothing else. So, could there be some demonic influence? Could there be some, I'm going to make up a fake name so I don't have to be responsible for this child I've just conceived? Who knows? But needless to say, my mother actually had the vision, and this was called out on NHRL commentary, which I don't know how they know this because I didn't actually put this on any of my forums. But my dad was really pushing for me to be named Alex, but my mother wanted me to be named Max. So the compromise is that my middle name is Alexander and my first name is Max, which Alex Morningstar, also very strong, but I think Max Morningstar really takes it to another level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It is. It's epic.
So Julian's question was later on, but I moved him up to the question after this. But Julian says, ask him to show his ID on the video call to confirm it's his real name.
I've got you ready here.
Oh my God, no, stop it.
I've tastefully redacted this ID, but you guys can see, let's see if it's in focus there. There it is. Yeah, it's mirrored, but I'm sure you can take that. And look at how happy and hairful I am in this photo. You can tell that this is from a couple years ago. But there you go, Julian. I have several witnesses now that my government-issued ID does in fact say Max Morningstar.
That's awesome.
It is.
Max Morningstar just sounds like a D&D weapon that always rolls max hit and everything.
Oh my gosh, that's actually brilliant. I'm a DM for a campaign right now. I should give one of my players that.
No, do not give them that. That is way too powerful.
No. Trust me, the way I build combat, they'll need it.
Oh, okay, no. You got to use this one weapon that I built. They won't buy it. It's been in the store forever, and they won't buy it. It's a D20 of poison, a D20 of fire, a D20 of bludgeoning, and a D20 of piercing. And I forgot what I named it. But the only problem is it only hits on a nat 20. So otherwise it will not hit. So, and they will not take it. But I'm like, you have such a good, like, if you hit, it's going to be so good. But at the same time, it literally does nothing for most combat. So, but that's one of my favorite weapons. I gotta find it what it's called.
I wonder. So, as a DM, if somebody spec'd into like the mass or the fighter tree where they critted, what is it, champion fighter,
19
where you like
and
crit
20.
on a
19 and 20.
Would you let them? Would it count?
I would say no, because on the description it says a nat 20 on it. It doesn't say a critical hit, because my D&D group they're not min-maxers, but they are very much so, like, they know the rules so well that they know how to take advantage of things, to the point where I'm like, now I have 2 monks that are both stunning at the same time. So combat is just like juggling, 2 monks juggling people back and forth with stuns. So all my bad guys just kind of like stand there still until they get pummeled to death. It is sad at this point.
Oh, brutal. Hey, when in doubt, force cage. Okay, best way to control martial characters. Having played a fighter against a mage with force cage ruins my day.
Oh yeah,
psychic damage. Let's see. So the next up is Matthew from the bot Kilico. He says, what is the greatest medieval melee weapon that is not derived from any form of mace, maul, or bludgeon? So this is kind of on the same form of Ryan's thing.
I just found the weapon. I named it the Blade of the Edgelord. It is a gigantic blade of black and red, covered in spikes, skulls, poison stingers, Tesla coils, and chains. Yeah. Sorry, answer the question.
So yes, I would say, obviously, first of all, for anybody who doesn't get the joke, Morningstar is a medieval weapon. It's a spiked ball on a chain that was often used by knights on horseback. Very, very fun weapon. If I was not going to pick a Morningstar, I would pick a pole axe, because it's good at both penetrating and bludgeoning an armored opponent.
Okay.
That
Makes sense to me.
is an excellent answer. Have you ever thought about going and doing some actual live action LARPing or SCA kind of stuff?
Can you imagine showing up to a LARP and saying, my name is Max Morningstar, and they're like, yeah, but what's your real name?
Exactly.
Well, you know that's your LARP name, but what's your real name, sir?
Oh my gosh.
Hold on, let me show you my ID.
That's right. Break the government ID out for that one too.
Yeah, like a little pin on his chest. Nope,
keep that
real
government ID taped up. This is my name.
Goodness. I have not done any of that directly, but my older sister has really pushed me towards it. She's gone to a number of Renaissance fairs and equivalent events. So it's a matter of time, I'm sure, before I would go to one.
Nice. Okay, so that was Matt. Brandon Bennett Young, who we were talking about before, who's getting better views than us on Behind the Bots, says, hey, Max, do you think... who do you think is the scariest bot amongst the big wheels? And how will you continue to push the boundary of competitor roasting?
On the big wheel front, regardless of weight class right now, I think you have to look at Samuel Herman. Sam is really putting up big numbers. Gargantuan just had its first event in the 30s and did very well for a first time 30, first time for Sam at least. Colossus has made it further in the 3-pound competition at NHRL than any robot other than Tiny Huge, which is the original 3-pound huge-like robot. And it's actually, as of this past event, now ranked higher than Tiny Huge on the NHRL all-time list, which is the first time any huge-like has been able to achieve that. So obviously, you got to look at Sam right now. There's a bit of an arms race, I think, between Sam, myself, and Peter Garnache, I would say. And maybe you can add in Seraph, the WPI big wheel vert, for who's going to be the second big wheel vert in the Beatles to take a golden dumpster home. Tiny Huge will always be the first, but the first non-team huge robot to do it, I think there's definitely some bragging rights to that. So for my money right now, definitely Sam.
Yep. Sam is a good friend of the show. We love Sam. So that is awesome. An awesome call out to Sam. Definitely agree.
And then on the roasting front, second part of that question, we've got a lot of runway with these. I mean, so far I've had a very fixed formula of just sitting in front of a opaque background in a black shirt. So lots can change there. Swearing is very funny, even when censored, at least in my opinion. So there's a lot of opportunities on that front. So we'll see, Brandon. I think there's a couple of different ways that I can push the format, and we'll play around and see what sticks and what makes the laughs.
Okay. Alex from Cole and Team Panda says, "Hi Max, can you tell us about the Tufts Basement Fight Club and your involvement?"
So this comment came with a video attached, which you guys can find on YouTube. It's the Tufts 2022 Fall in-house robotics competition. It is my first combat robotics competition that I ever attended. Myself and a team of 2 other students built a robot called Robotiller, which technically was a mantis weight. I think we had, slightly less than that. I think we had a 5-pound overhead that we were trying to hit. And so we built this robot out of sheet steel, and we had 3 quarter-inch aluminum blades that we CNC'd into like a saw blade shape. It was very amateurly done. It's like the ideal first robot in the sense that looking back, it was just so glaringly poorly constructed. We had the weapon powered by 1 LiPo battery, but then the drive was powered by 2 AA batteries. And so in our first match, I think we killed the drive batteries and also were spinning the wrong way. So we spun the nut off of our weapon stack and ejected all of our blades at the front. It was just the most rookie bot that you can imagine. That event was also fairly formative in another way, which is that, again, if you are digging around on YouTube and happen to watch through it, you'll see that the event was won by a sort of trapezoid-shaped horizontal spinner named Leona. And we got beaten so badly by Leona, or rather saw Leona stomp our competition so easily that me and a couple other kids ended up building our own trapezoidally shaped horizontal spinner that I was the captain of, called Deep Cut, and that became my first NHRL robot the following January. So that cool. Event was like the inciting incident for all of this that has come after.
That's awesome. Love hearing that. That's cool. Love that. Nick from Crafty Cat Combat, who's usually the first one to comment, but was not this time. What are you doing, Nick? Dropping the ball here. Says, Max, big wheels are a huge meta breaker. What is something you think we'll see in the next few years that will really disrupt things? So like another meta breaker.
I think that, and this is a little bit controversial because I'm saying this from a position of not having the winningest big wheel right now. I think that the arc we are taking as a big wheel community is going the wrong way, which is right now we are seeing size as the ideal, right? As long as I am as big as possible, nothing's going to be able to hit me. Colossus has a 12-inch wheel diameter. Seraph, I think, has a 13-inch wheel diameter, which, considering these are 3-pound robots, the big wheels at the 12-pound level have usually a 16-inch wheel diameter. So the fact that Seraph is at 13 really puts into perspective just how ginormous that is. That being said, to avoid a robot like Synthesis, I think you would need an 18-inch wheel diameter. So at least in my mind, this idea of, well, if we just are as big as possible and are these total glass cannon robots, then we'll win events. I don't think that that's a pattern that's going to work. I think more people are going to come up with big Hedda-esque designs that'll allow them to hit at the chassis. And so that's one of the reasons why with actual size, I have not prioritized size. I've prioritized durability. In a lot of ways, that's been successful. In this last event, I got the absolute potato salad kicked out of me by Lunatic for a solid 3 minutes, and the robot was still mostly functioning at the end, with the exception of the weapon gear, which was very, very skillfully sniped, and I have since made some design changes to hopefully prevent that in the future. The wheels that I use are TPU with spring steel. They have to date offered really terrific traction and superior durability, which if you watch fights with Seraph or with Colossus, you'll see that while they do have solid traction to start with, it does wane over the course of a match. Now, granted, most of their matches aren't going a full 3 minutes because they're getting knockouts. So that's the flip side of that sort of glass cannon coin is, you don't have to worry about damage if you've already KO'd your opponent. But I think that our next meta breaker is going to be reach verts, or at least robots that are capable of dealing with big wheels. And at that point, as a community, we're going to have to reevaluate our strategy a little bit.
Do you think that means fully investing in armor, or do you think that means finding more ways to avoid that damage? Like, are you going to put like the opposite of a plow, so you go over or something like that?
We've got some interesting ideas that folks are cooking up. I have UHMW pieces that I'm able to fashion to the front of actual size that will allow it to take hits. I did a grudge match with Seth Schaefer's Division V4 at this last event, and the UHMW held up great, and it prevented him from getting a clean shot against my chassis. I know that Huge has run its own version of, I think, Tegris Chins before, like the Huge team. So there's different potential routes we could take. One of the things that's really exciting about Big Wheels is we don't have all the answers. I mean, something like the stanced configuration that Brendan Steele brought with Slam Plan was seemingly totally out of left field and now is fairly standard, at least across a good portion of big wheel robots. So there's still evolutions to be made. There's still a lot of things that we just haven't tested yet. And I think that if people start to really push us with these big headed configurations, with these reach vert configurations, then we will see some interesting solutions that people will pose, some of which I'm sure will be total failures, but others will unlock new configurations for us. So I'm frankly excited for it.
Does the Big Wheel family is that run by Jonathan Schultz, and you just all gather around the table once a year and like discuss what you're going to be doing? Is that how that works?
So I checked in with Jonathan Schultz at the November 2024 event, and I have chatted with him previously. Yeah. I actually walked
just
by
to get
him
your
with my
Big Wheel license.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's you gotta pay reverence to the OGs.
Yep.
I checked in with him at the November 2025 NHRL event, and Jake Hoffman happened to be standing there. And Jake was so incensed that I was like reporting in that he turned around and made a Thagomizer Discord to make sure that his own community could grow and prosper in the way that the Big Wheels has. So, we're definitely, there's a reverence, there's a love for the Huge team and for Jonathan. And hopefully, I think that extends into a lot of other communities. I'm sure that Sean Becker gets hit up for hammer saw advice all the time and things like that. So
there's definitely a melty system out there.
Yeah. Melties. Yeah, exactly. So, whenever, one of the beautiful things about the community is whenever we can take hard lessons from someone else's loss instead of our own, we tend to do it. So
is it just eventually going to end up in that like gangs of New York, like all the styles are just going to have their own gang family that
I think it would be really fun to run back NHRL teams, but have a fixed archetype. So it's like, okay, you got all the reach verts over here, you got all the beater bars on this team, you got all the melties. There's, we have enough robots now that you could feasibly do that. And I think that could be a really fun, okay, which weight classes does that work for better than others? There's a lot of content to be had there.
Yeah, which archetype comes out best at each one? Yeah, that would be a really cool tournament to see. I would love that.
Well, that was one of the interesting things about Robot Rampage is that they actually had the 5 bots and they all had to be of different archetypes.
Yeah,
correct.
So it was like it was trying to force you to fight things that were different.
Yeah. So Tom from Stress Concentration says, given your impending decrease in travel time to NHRL, congrats on Penn. Would you ever consider commenting matches like people have suggested? If an offer came from Austin, would you take it?
I would love to be behind the commentator's desk. Austin, I'll do anything. Yeah.
Well, you don't want to say that. Austin's got a lot of money. Austin. You don't want to say that.
That's true.
Probably
That's
a ball pit that you could go clean out somewhere. I don't know.
I'll clean the ball pit. I'll do it. look, and maybe we'll see. I'm going to get up there with my little squeegee and suddenly realize it's a worse task than I thought it was. But no, I would love to be behind the desk for these events. And certainly, I'm going to be going to Philadelphia. I'm in Washington, D.C. right now. So the increased proximity makes that kind of participation easier. But at the same time, as it is, NHRL has a fantastic commentating team. So, I would not want to displace anybody from that just so that I could be there. But if anybody on the NHRL broadcast is listening, I am interested. So hit me up.
Okay. Ben H from the Wall Part 2 says, and the Panda team says, the documentation of your bots on the NHRL wiki and now your YouTube channel are excellent. What spurred you to start these records of your bots? Additionally, when will Beetle Swarm finally debut?
A little context for the folks that don't know. When the NHRL Teams event happened in 2023, we had an idea to bring together a series of 3-pound robots and have them masquerade as a 30-pound and a 12-pound entry, and then enter collectively as the team Beetle Swarm. We were not selected for fairly obvious reasons, but and then of course they changed the rules, so they got us too, Thomas. They made it so that you could only have so many partitions in your multi-bot, which is unfortunate. But I would love to do that, just even if for like a fun event, 30 Beetles versus like Emperor or something. Come on, that would be fantastic. But the NHRL Wiki, I started recording on that because similarly back in 2023, I think the wiki was getting more traction at the time. And so getting to click through people's robots and sort of see the history and see their pages and learn about certain fights or certain paths that robots had taken through the tournament was very interesting. And so now all of my robots have very robust wiki pages that everybody can dive into. A lot of the content in my actual size video came from my NHRL wiki page that I have. I also, side note, hold the record for most number of edits to the NHRL wiki. I'm at 6,000. Yeah. I think I'm just under 6,000. And for reference, Gil Hova, the intrepid NHRL statistician, is at like I think he's 5,100. So I recently passed him. Yeah, but I've also been doing it for 2 years less than he has. So my per capita wiki edits, my rate is fantastic.
Are you just editing your own or everybody's?
Oh, everybody's. And I don't generate content, but when new robots are added, they don't natively have a page created for them. So I'll do that. There was a 5-year backlog of images that didn't have any tags on them or weren't being used on pages. So I got to be in my bonnet. I was sitting on a meeting at work and I was twiddling my thumbs or doodling. And I was like, I could be doing something more productive. So I just started slowly chipping away at all of these images. And now if you go to the vertical spinners category, you can see every single image of a vertical spinner that has.
So I've got you to thank for being able to pull all that information.
Yeah.
Got it. Bingo.
You.
Yeah. So, I something that I would love to dive into more. So again, NHRL, if you're looking for somebody to just be exclusive wiki editor, hit me up. My DMs are open. But it's been a nice passion project. And so hopefully when other people visit the wiki, they're able to have a better wiki viewing experience for it.
I'm always looking for people to do bot of the day video, recordings and stuff like that too.
For real.
We could definitely use some help in, organizing things.
I'll have to follow up with you on that, Tony. Because so certainly, I've got my own robots that I need to get in there at the very least. So.
Yes.
Oh my God,
well, yeah, that's we'll cover that we'll cover that in a second. So I have two people who have similarly themed questions. So Matt Lantry from the Pandas and Alex from Eclipse says, okay, so here's 4 questions that all have the same theme. What's your favorite flavor and type of milk? How do you feel about the dairy industry as a whole? When will you do an expose on the dairy industry, and how much milk goes into actual size? Are you worried about it shorting the electronics?
All right. First of all, I'm not doing an expose on the dairy industry. I'm in the pocket of the dairy industry. So you'll get an hour-long dairy propaganda video before you get an expose. I'm going to say that. Favorite milk flavor? You got to go with just a standard, regular 2% dairy. Okay? It's a classic. 1% is all right in a pinch, but skim milk, why bother? Just drink water. Whole milk, why bother? Just drink cream.
Isn't it Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec says skim milk is just water pretending to be milk?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, it's just like, what are we doing at that point? So yeah, you got to nail that 2%, just impossibly creamy, but yet still very smooth.
Wait a second. You're telling me that why drink whole milk when you can just get cream? How much does it cost for a gallon of cream?
A lot. Too much
more.
Now.
That's true.
How much does it cost for a gallon of whole milk? Aldi, it's like $3.25, $3.75. I don't know. I'm all about that balance because I want to get in between the cream, but more than 2%.
I'll hear that. I disagree, but I see where you're coming from.
All right, Max, I'm lactose intolerant and I get lactate milk. Is that okay? Or is that wrong?
So if you had asked me like 2 years ago, I would have said that was wrong. I have a roommate who is similarly intolerant and buys exclusively lactose-free milk. And it's kind of started to put me onto it a little bit. If I have the option, I'm still going to go regular milk. But I'm willing to say that if you're out here, you're lactose intolerant, but you're still drinking milk or a milk derivative, I'm not going to say no to that.
Yeah, that's me over here.
I drink I eat full cheese, but I put whole milk into things.
Cheese?
But it's lactose. Not lactate cheese. Like full cheese, I will risk my life for cheese. I do not care.
Agreed.
It's fine.
I'll
take a lactate, but I'll risk my life. The meal for everybody working the last NHRL was calzones, just full of cheese, and I had no lactate pills with me. And I was like,
asked me. I definitely have them in my purse.
My gosh.
Good to know for later, but I survived anyway. I wanted a calzone that bad.
Fun fact, Mom Ashley has everything. Those are in my bag. Definitely.
But yeah, I will not have a little milk in my coffee, so it has to be lactate.
You could just get cheeses that don't have lactose in them.
Those aren't as good. They're just not as good.
Cheddar? You like cheddar?
They don't. Look, if you've ever tried to, if you've ever tried to cook,
they're not as good
with lactose-free cheese. You know that it does not handle at all like regular cheese. It's
no. There are types of cheese, specifically aged cheese, and the longer it's aged, the less lactose it has in it.
Cheddar is a bad example of that because cheddar is not aged usually, unless you get we're going into a cheese conversation, but unless you get really, really aged cheddar. But you're just talking about normal cheddar that's still got a bunch of lactose.
We live how far from Vermont and New York and Connecticut, New Hampshire, all these places that make great sharp cheddar? Easy. Next you're going to tell me you have table syrup instead of maple syrup living in the Northeast.
I'm pretty sure the reason I'm lactose intolerant is because when we were kids, we took a family road trip, up to Vermont. And just ate cheese the whole entire time, and I'm pretty sure that's why I'm lactose intolerant.
No, that should make it the other way. Usually you lose your lactose intolerance because you stop consuming milk and stuff.
The funniest thing about that is Ryan and Travis are both lactose intolerant, and I am not. So
I was going to say, how's Justin doing over there? That's fine.
Won the genetic lottery, apparently.
Which also is the funniest thing is Ryan and Travis are also both blind as a bat and need their glasses, and these I could see perfectly fine without these. These are just to sharpen and protect my eyes against the computer. So I'm not sure where the genetic lottery went there, but I got all the good genetics, and then they kind of got the crappy ones at the end.
How?
So, okay. So last question comes from Tim Hebert of Chubby Unicorn. He says, there's both a Morningstar and a Morningstar named robot on the NHRL wiki. Given that these bots are clearly named after you, what is your favorite robot name that you'd name a human to return the favor? Not excluding Greg and James and, the human named robots.
I definitely heard on that one. I would say, first of all, the fact that there is a robot named Morningstar that is a big wheel that exists independent of me is fantastic and hilarious. And I think I'm actually going to be potentially competing against them at the University of Pittsburgh event in late April, I think. Because it's got to be that one. So I'm very excited because they have not competed for a while, and I'm always down for more sort of Star Child style big wheels. In terms of what I would name somebody, Dimakaris, like, you know, if I was in my car at a stoplight and somebody ran up and was like, "I am Dimakaris, I need this vehicle," like, here are the keys, man. Just take it. Yeah, I have zero questions. Clearly, this person is on a mission, and I cannot stand in their way. From a non-combat perspective, I think any of the robot names from Interstellar, so like Tars or Kip or Case, I think those would be solid human names for like a scientist or a community member. I think you could, if I walked into the NHRL pits and sat next to somebody and they were like, "Hey, I'm Tars," I'd be like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
What about Kratos? Right.
Kratos, powerful. I think similarly, you got a good energy with Kratos.
I don't know how I get out of Justice for Kratos now. It's just the rest of my
Ryan,
life.
if you ever have a child, you must now name it Kratos Justice.
Very cool. Okay, so that was the end of the mailbag. We're going to go into very quickly the what's new from the Havoc Rundown with Tony. Tony, you want to tell everyone about our new things? We kind of touched on them earlier in the episode, but go into detail about some of the things we're doing.
Yeah, so we've launched a whole social media blitz, kind of. We've really redesigned our YouTube page. We're doing a bot of the day. So every day there's a little short. The audio is from one of our community members or one of the podcast hosts here. And it's going to be a little short with some of the fight videos, footage behind it, just to give you a little update of a bot that's out there. We're trying to hit like odd name bots, not necessarily the big ones that everybody knows of. Like one day I did Bad Daddy, which is this cool bot from the United Kingdom that's been fighting. So definitely check that out on our YouTube page. Last week, we released our pilot version of Havoc TV, which is our new 20 to 30 minute, basically mini TV show where we look at about 5 fights from everywhere and all times. We have some of the throwback videos from BattleBots and Robot Wars. And this one of the fights that we're going to be previewing soon is actually a fight from 2004 at Kilobots. So we're looking for some of the old fights, and then we have some of the newer fights as well. So we're looking at those. So yeah, we
even did a human robot boxing, like two humanoid robot boxing.
Yes. We even did video, 2 human robots fighting. So if you have fights that you'd like to have us preview and look at on our show, send them to our center Discord. And we'll be putting those up. The video is going to drop every Friday at noon. So that'll be our, basically our TV drop. And then every day after that point for the rest of the week, I'll actually be posting clips and shorts from it. So kind of like we were talking about earlier to lead you back to that show. So we'll have those there. But if you have a video or of your fight that you want previewed, send it to us in our Discord channel or email us on the website. And we'll get those in there as well. And if you want to contribute to our bot of the day, join our Discord channel. We have a sign-up sheet where you can sign up to have your bot if you want, and you can talk about your bot on one of our shorts. So those are the cool new things we're doing there. We're also going to be launching our Twitch page. So we're going to do live previews of our shows before they're released on YouTube on our Twitch page. So if you actually want to log in and view it first with us, you can. And we are going to be streaming our the draft next week on Twitch. So we're trying to build up our Twitch profile and get that monetized too. Money is always a good thing in the back end. But we're all about community. So the more you guys help us out, the more you guys put in there and share, the better this whole thing is going to be. So I designed the page and everything else to bring the community together and share out the amazing things that are happening. And now we're just going to do that in a couple other places too.
Okay.
Thank you, Tony. So that is going to wrap up this episode of the Havoc Rundown. Huge thanks to Max for joining us and giving us a look into both the competitive and creative sides of combat robotics as we head into the April NHRL event. Between what's happening in the arena and the growing presence of content creators in the space, it's clear the sport is evolving in more ways than one, and Max is right in the middle of that shift. Before we wrap, make sure you go check out Max's content. His roast videos and breakdowns are some of the most entertaining and insightful in the community right now. Max, please let everyone know where they can find you, and we'll make sure to link all of your socials in the description of this video, the podcast as well.
Well, you can find me at TRC, the Team Roboctopi Combat Division on YouTube, which is a nod to my FRC team of the same name. And certainly check out the NHRL Wiki if you want an in-depth look at all of my robots and not just actual size.
Okay. We also have them on our registry as well. Probably not as detailed as the NHRL Wiki because you've edited that yourself, but we've got some information there as well. If you want to stay up to date with everything we're doing, from podcast episodes of Fantasy League standings and event coverage, head over to havocrundown.com. That will link you over to our YouTube and TikTok and Discord and everything else. So again, that's havocrundown.com. Thanks for listening, and as always, we will see you in the pit. Everyone say goodbye to our listeners.
Bye.
Bye. See you in April.